All right, welcome back to the Crypto Factor. Welcome back to your favorite cryptopreneurship show. If it's your first time here, my name is Paul, and today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about crypto. We're going to be answering your questions. We're going to be talking where and why I'm actually disagreeing with Benjamin Cowen, plus a couple of more influencers, probably most of them out there, the ones that don't flip-flop every day. I'm actually disagreeing with most of them when it comes to this market, when it comes to Bitcoin, when it comes to crypto, at least to the ones that are claiming that this is a bear market. I don't feel this is a bear market yet. I do believe we're still in structure. I know that sounds insane. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we're going to be talking about. I want to show you my thesis, and then you can decide for yourself. Now, I do have a video in the chat that's linked here. If you can just right-click this chat. See this chat over here at the top? This is my screen, by the way. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing 14 of you. I see 10 likes. Thank you very much. This is my screen. And here, see here, the crypto factor right at the top says, watch. Cowen says bear market. I believe he is wrong, and here is why. Please just right-click that and open this into a new tab, or go to my channel later on and just watch that video, because it will explain a lot of things. Your channel, right here in videos, right here, not so fast. Cowen says bear market. I believe he is wrong. Here's why. And here's my argument as well. Well, not argument, but my debate with Crypto Archie over here as well. So watch these two videos to get more of my views, because what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to tell you my view, tell you what I'm feeling, tell you what I'm seeing, but then you need to do your own research and decide what you think on your own. So I'm going to give you the information, I'm going to give you what I'm thinking, and you can ultimately decide on your own, okay? Now, generally speaking, I'm a very contrarian person. I'm a contrarian by nature, so I disagree with most people out there anyway, okay? And you've noticed this. You've noticed this when I called 15.6K bottom, winning a bet with Gareth Soloway. You noticed this when I called the all-time highs of Bitcoin will come in before the halving. You noticed when I said we're going to have a dump after it, which we did. You noticed when I said Bitcoin at 100 to 140,000 by end of 2024. You saw this when I was saying the dump Trump, and I was telling you to take your convert all altcoins to Bitcoin. I was talking about mini alt seasons, not long alt seasons, or growth, the normal alt seasons that you usually see. I was talking about mini alt seasons and narrative-based alt seasons. As a matter of fact, for the last 6 months, I've been talking, or maybe even more, I've been talking about selective alt seasons. And the only thing, we got a couple of things wrong. The only thing we got wrong so far, other than some picks here and there, obviously I got more than, I'm right 80% of the time if you do the math. Obviously, I'm making some things mistakes, but there's some things wrong. I get some things wrong. But when you look at the big picture of things, I got most things right. And I think I'm going to be right about the thing we're going to be talking about today, about if we're in a bear market or not as well. So let's see. And let me explain so you can have context, because it's very important, okay? But one of the things we got wrong, just to say again, because I like saying my mistakes as well, we have not had a full-blown alt season yet. I said we're going to have one right after the summer. We haven't had one yet, okay? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on. And I was saying that the top of Bitcoin price will be 120 to 140,000. If that makes 160,000, we're almost there, and the top may actually be in. But I want to give you some context here, because the bull market is not over and we're not in a bear market. So I do believe we can just go up. I do believe we're going to have at least a dead cat bounce and reclaim some of that territory, giving you better exits. I do believe we can even, and this is a big one, might even double top or even pass the all-time highs for just a bit or just some time, and that's the least likely, okay? But I do want to give you some context in the bigger picture here. So let's have a look at the charts. Let me explain, because just babbling along here won't really help. So this is a 4-hour on Bitcoin. This is not helping us. What I do want to see is the daily chart here, okay? So this is the daily chart. This is the factor line. If you don't know what the factor line is, look it up. It's in the description down below, and so on. Now, here's what I'm seeing. As a matter of fact, let's go to the weekly real quick. Yeah, this is the weekly chart. So this is the weekly chart of Bitcoin on the factor line, okay? It gave us amazing entries down here, and it has not given us an exit yet. The overall trend, according to the factor line, which is my own indicator, built the way I trade and the way I personally what I look for, the indicator is still gold, but it is turning down here. It is like pointing down. It's more of a steeper down than other times, okay? But here's what's going on right now. And by the way, it did tell you to sell up here. Okay, see those SFP sells? Sell, sell. This is buy, sell, and so on. These two sells should have been very telling in themselves. Okay, now, especially when you cross this line down here. Should have sold, should have gone out. Now, this is the weekly chart. Here's what I'm expecting. Now, first of all, for some context, Benjamin Cowen, according to Benjamin Cowen, he says that because we lost the weekly SMA, okay, let's see if we have the weekly SMA in this chart. No, we don't. All right, let me bring up the weekly SMA because you have to understand what Benjamin Cowen is talking about here, okay? So if you take a simple moving average and we go into the settings here, settings. All right, let's do 50. And this should be the, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this is the weekly moving average, okay? So it's the 50 length, and you are on the weekly chart. Correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody out there thinks I'm wrong and it's not the way I'm supposed to look at it, please let me know in the chat and we'll fix it after and we'll do analysis. But this is, to my understanding, this is the chart, this is the line he's using, okay? So we're on the weekly, and this is the weekly SMA. And he says when you break under it, usually Bitcoin goes into a bear market. If we go back, indeed, look, it's been respecting the weekly moving average here all throughout. And now we broke under. And if you noticed, here we broke under, but we caught up fast. Here, the same thing. And if you notice, generally speaking, look, we went under over here. We went into a bear market. This was the massive cup and handle that I called, and so on. All right? And you can see throughout history, every time that this broke, we went into a bear market. Now, my argument here is very simple, okay? And this is the candle we called yesterday. I actually told you we're getting towards the bottom over here, or a potential bottom over here. We'll talk about it. I'm not saying this is the bottom. I'm saying it's a potential bottom. We'll talk about it in just 1 second. When you break under the weekly moving average, and this candle confirms, which is going to confirm today, to be quite honest with you, okay? Usually that leads to a bear market. The problem is, I don't think this is enough information. This is not giving you the big picture. And these kind of charts or these kind of indicators can very easily be invalidated. And just because it wasn't invalidated up to now, it doesn't mean it's going to not be invalidated. Okay, so I'm not subscribing to this thesis. Number one, usually when we break under, we get a bounce, some sort of bounce. We haven't got one this time. This is where my mistake was, because we closed the cancel. I was expecting this to bounce back up here again. I was expecting a V-shaped recovery, which we did not have. This candle here, yes, it's worrying me because it's the second week that's about to close. The issue is we haven't broken structure for a bear market. And you're going to be like, Paul, what are you talking about? You just said this. I just said that. That's based on Benjamin Cowen and this particular indicator. But we have not broken structure. To go into a bear market, you must break structure. And this is what I don't understand, all these TA guys, these TA gurus out there, why they don't understand this. Where was our last drop, which we called perfectly? Where was our last drop? It's right here. This here. And look, I'm going to take it back from right here because it's interesting how TA respects these resistances. See how it respects this resistance, and now that became support here on our latest drop. Just showing you TA. Look at this perfect line here. This right here was our previous drop, around 74,000, which we called perfectly. We said if we drop under 100, we'll get to the 74. We actually called this, okay? We said we're expecting a bounce here. We bought this, okay? Even the factor line gave you a buy signal here. Look, it gave you the buy signal here. So my question is this. Where is this a bear market? This hasn't broken structure. For this to break structure, we have to come down, break under, and make this line here resistance. We have not done that. This is a higher low. This is still a higher low. I don't care if you agree or not if this is a bear market. I don't care if you understand or you don't think technical analysis works. If you subscribe by technical analysis principles, what Benjamin Cowen was using here, because he's talking about TA, we have not broken structure. It's a higher low on the weekly time frame. Look. It's a higher low. So if we take these, let me just get rid of these blue lines over here just so we can have room. So if this is still intact, what tells you we don't bounce from here, which, by the way, we call this a potential bounce. We bounce from here, we come up, and we continue to the upside. What tells you we can't do that? Tell me one thing. Now, let's talk about probabilities here, okay? Because probabilities are, because let's be honest, okay? The probabilities are, I did say by the end of 2025, beginning 2026, Bitcoin's gonna top. In the last 3 months of 2025, Bitcoin's gonna have a top. I didn't say it's going to be a bear market. And I kept on saying, just because it tops doesn't mean it's a bear market and altcoins might still run. Pay attention here. Let's keep that in mind just 1 second, okay? Bear with me here, because this is important, okay? Here's what you need to look at. Where's the breaking point? The breaking point is the 50 EMA, very close to the 100 psychological, which I used personally. And I said if we break under 100,000, it's a line in the sand. We're going to go much lower, probably to the low 90s, mid 80s. We actually went lower than that. But look, this is the line in the sand that I said if it breaks, actually, if this breaks, we have to get out. And if this becomes resistance, it's going to be dangerous. We're going to get much lower levels. And I was also saying that we might get a 30%, 40% drop. We haven't seen one yet, but usually Bitcoin in bull markets gets a 30, 40% drop, sometimes even 50. It's very common. It's very, very common. And people forget this. We haven't had one yet. We almost had one about 29%, but we haven't really had a big drop yet, 30, 40%. Now we did. Now we're there. And it did, and I understand it's getting close to the end of this year, beginning 2026, where I said we're going to see a top. But we might not be there just yet. At the very least, I'm expecting a dead cat bounce to higher levels and even a double top, possibly continuation, but that's really a long shot. And I'm actually challenging Benjamin Cowen here and every other influencer out there. I'm challenging every single one, because worst case scenario is if we go down right now and this actually does turn into a bear market. In other words, we go under 74,000, becomes resistance, we go to the 60s, and everyone's like, yep, see, it's a bear market. And it is a bear market, indeed. Everyone's not going to learn fucking technical analysis and never learn how to read charts. And this one time, they'll think they know everything. And guess what? You don't know shit. We have not broken structure. Period. We have not broken structure. So here's what I'm expecting, what I'm hoping for, and where is my invalidation? When will I say, okay, this is a bear market? When will I say I am wrong? Because it's very important. First of all, if we go under 74K and make this resistance, I will say the probabilities of a bear market increase significantly. We're probably in a bear market. We're probably going to stay down here for a while. I agree with this. That's my invalidation point. That's where I say, yes, we are in a bear market. A lot of people say, why don't these YouTubers just admit we're in a bear market? Because we're not in a fucking bear market. If that happens, we're in a bear market. Okay? So far. We're close, but we're not there yet. Now, what am I expecting here? When do we see something? What am I expecting? I'm expecting a move at least to 100K retest. So I'm expecting a retest to this line and then go down, and then we'll see. If this actually picks up from here and starts coming up, we have a chance to break this. Okay? But if this starts coming down and does not hold and doesn't get a double bottom or triple bottom in the long-term schemes, then this coming under and making this resistance, then yes, bear market. Now, to be more precise, I'm going to draw another line here because I like working in ranges. If you follow my course, if you follow my channel, you know I like working in ranges, and this is actually the perfect range right here for many reasons. There's many reasons why there's a perfect range. We'll talk about another time. Okay, maybe I'm a bit off. Maybe I need to make it a little bit more straight. Okay, so there's a range. So if we break $100,000 and we make it support, this might actually become, either we'll reject the 109 and make a heads and shoulders. See this massive heads and shoulders? I'll show it to you in a second. Sorry about that, give me a second. Or we can come up, retest, and break this, and then we have another shot at all-time highs. And then we'll take it from there and we'll reevaluate. Because you can very easily, I'll do this in white, the way I'm expecting this bull market to end, if it ends now, is a left shoulder, head, right shoulder into this range. Looks like a penis, I know. But, you know, the way things are going, we might as well draw penises up here. And then if that breaks the neckline, which again is pretty much at the same level over here, that will constitute a bear market for me. So I'm expecting this run either to this level here at 100,000 or this level here at 109,000. And if those reject, yes, the possibilities increase. We're probably going to come down to the lows. You would take massive profits here, exit, whatever you can do in anticipation of a bear market, but you would still buy this level with a stop loss under if it becomes resistance, if that makes sense. That's how you do technical analysis. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm viewing. That's what I'm subscribing to. So yes, I disagree with Benjamin Cowen. I disagree with Crypto Archie, which I like, by the way. I disagree with Ivan on Tech. I disagree with all these influencers, experts, TA guys, every single one of them that says this is a bear market, because it's not a bear market, because structure has not broke. Although I do admit that, yes, we could be getting and heading into one. That is my view. That's what my view is. And I will be playing this accordingly to the 4-year cycle, which I told you for over the last 3 years. We're going to have a 4-year cycle. I'm going to play by the 4-year cycle until proven otherwise. We're in a 4-year cycle, but it's not the end yet. Even if we don't break all-time highs, and that was the top, it's not the end yet. Selling here, I was saying yesterday, I was saying the day before, selling at the drop at the low 80s was completely stupid. We're seeing a bounce already. I'm not going to say this plays out because I did say over the weekend there's less liquidity and we'll probably get some sort of bounce. And let me delete all this because it doesn't make sense here. It's just like right now we're just drawing pictures, right? This is the smiley face. Let's just put that in here. This is not even a smiley face. That's a retard face. This is a smiley face, okay? This is a smiley face. But since we're drawing all these lines, making this ridiculous, we might as well continue. This is a smiling face. Look. That's a smiling face, okay? We'll give him a hat, too. All right? Since we're fucking up and we're being retards here, let's just do it all the way. Let's just remove all this shit. So, that's what I'm looking at. All right? And look, if you want to know my views, if you want to know the way how I invest, how I trade, how I do TA, how I use candlesticks, if you want to see my style, especially if I turn out to be right here, check out my course. Simple shit. It's right here, right? You can scan this, invest, trade, think like the crypto factor. You get the factor line for free. The only way you can get the factor line is through the course. You get it for lifetime. You get upgrades, you get updates, you get a whole bunch of stuff, a private group you can ask questions, and you learn how I trade. Simple shit. If you like it. If you don't, it's okay. You can learn. You can do TA without this. This is not the best indicator. Well, I think it's the best indicator in the world, but it's not the only way to do TA. You don't need to pay for TA. You can learn TA on your own. You can learn Elliott wave theory. It's very, very good. It's what Rastani uses. I love that. You can follow the chart guys. They have a course that's more expensive, but anyway, there's different courses out there. Mine's pretty expensive, but not the most expensive one. But learn technical analysis, whether you do it for free, whether you do it in a way. If you want to learn how I do it, though, this is the way you do it. It's also in the description down below. Okay? Now, with that said, and by the way, no, there's no Black Friday, okay? There's no Black Friday drop in the price. The price will go up after Black Friday. So the price is already low. It will go up after. I wanted to put the price up before because I'm putting it up along the way. It started at 997, went to 1,297. It's going to go all the way up to 2,600, but I didn't want to do incrementally, but I don't want to do it now. I said, listen, instead of putting up the price now, I'll just keep it low for Black Friday if anybody wants to buy, and I'll put it up after. Anyway, beside the point, let's stop talking about the course. Let's get back to what we were talking about. Looking at altcoins. I was saying Zcash and perpetual dexes are going to have a war. Let's see which one wins. Zcash, perpetual dexes, and AI. These are the three narratives I would be in right now. Yes, I know Acer is going down here. I know Hype had a pretty much big dive over here. Yes, I understand that, but I still think the perpetual dexes are going to have their own narrative if we have altcoins running. Big if this bull market continues, and I do think that Privacy is going to continue. Look at Zcash. I was telling everybody Zcash is the play. Look at this. It's just the most powerful coin on here. Okay, screenshot that if you want. Now, with that said, let's answer your questions in the chat because look. I don't want people to forget that these live streams are for you. They're for you to answer your questions, to give you value. They're all about you. They're not about news. You can get news everywhere else. There are other channels out there that cover the news much better than me. Let me just turn up the air conditioner a little bit. There are channels out there much better than mine that are much better than mine covering the news. I'm not a news guy. Okay, I'm also not a day trader. I'm not a day trader guy, so I'm not going to be doing videos every day. One day bearish, one day bullish, one day bearish, one day bullish, next day bullish. I just don't like that because no one day trades here. If anybody was day trading here, they wouldn't have time to watch this video, and you're just emotional up and down every single day, going crazy. I don't know. In the morning, everyone's bullish. At nighttime, everyone's bearish because they're doing day trading videos so they can have videos to give you. Because otherwise, there's no videos. There's like one video a week, every 2 weeks if you're a swing trader like I am. And a lot of these videos are repetitive because we're still in the fucking range. What am I going to do? Do a video every day? We're still in range, guys. We're still in range. That's it. Like, there's nothing else to say. So that's why. If you like these kind of videos, if you like this kind of analysis, if you like this kind of trading, which is swing trading, which is longer form of trading, longer time frames and investing, this is the channel to do that. Like this video if you understand and if you like that, if you agree with that. If you prefer being a long-term investor or a swing trader, which is longer time frames opposed to day trading, like this video, I would really appreciate it. Let me see how many of you prefer that instead of going crazy every single day. Because I understand what these YouTubers are doing. It's not that their technical analysis is wrong. It's just they're day traders. By the end of the day, you take profits in a day or two, sometimes even a few hours. So, but it's good for YouTube because every day you have something to say. The problem is one day you're up, one day you're down, and one day they have red thumbnails with fire and oh my god, and it's over. And the next day they have thumbnails all green and happy with fucking, I don't know, coins flying everywhere. This is not my channel. It's just not here. This is just not it. Now, for those of you talking about the debt cross, let me show you why most people don't understand technical analysis. Okay? Because everyone's talking about this death cross. And I understand what a death cross is. I look at death crosses. The only difference is I look at death crosses a little bit different. A death cross is usually something that happens, pay attention, something that happens before a reversal. And I talked about that on the video with Archie. I talked about that on the video with yesterday. Death crosses, especially in Bitcoin, mark potential bottoms. I'm not saying it's going to bottom right there, but a couple of weeks after, sometimes a week, sometimes a month, usually it gets close to the bottom. Why? Because death crosses are lagging indicators. And by the time they actually cross, most people have capitulated. Don't believe me? Look at every single historical death cross on Bitcoin. Do it on the weekly, do whatever you want. There are about 12 of them. 9 of them, the bottom came in soon after. And that's potentially what we're seeing right now. Bottom might be the wrong word. Reversal. All right? So, because if you go in the bear market, it might be an outlier, it might go into one. But for me, death crosses are bullish because once they happen, it usually marks, I know like in a week or 2 weeks or whatever, in Bitcoin especially, it usually marks a reversal or close to a reversal. Most people have capitulated. And everyone's like, oh my God, it's a death cross. And just the name death cross scares the shit out of you. People don't know how to I'm sorry. They don't get it. It's like the ones that say that gaps always have to fill. I understand why they're saying that and why they believe that. But the truth is, the way you use gaps is not why they always fill. They don't always fill. Yes, sure, on a long time frame in Bitcoin, they tend to fill after 4 years because you go into a bear market and Bitcoin goes down 75%, then goes up fucking 10x. Of course they're going to fill at some point. But the problem is that that's not how you're supposed to conventionally use gaps. The gaps don't have to fill. The gap must fill. No, it doesn't. Gaps are supposed to be used as support and resistance. Look at every single gap and tell me if it's not support or resistance. And usually what you will do, you will see the gap and then you will look at other indicators to confirm that support. And the stronger support you have, that's where you take your position with your stop loss under the gap. Does that make sense? So if you want to learn this stuff, if you want to know this stuff, the way I trade, if you don't believe me, don't even bother. But if you want to learn how I do it, right here, links in the description down below. Just scan that with your phone. Check it out. See if it's for you. I have to update the video on there. But check it out. The sales video on there needs updating because it was an old one. But check it out. See if it's for you. Look at the contents. That's all I ask. That and like this video because I have a good smile. I pushed the wrong button there. That's the button I wanted to push. Okay, so with that said, Let's answer your questions. Chuck, my man. Hi, Paul. Coffee this morning. Awesome. I'm drinking sparkling water in a can. By the way, how does this microphone sound? My other microphone, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's really crap. There's something wrong with it. It's got a shotgun mic right over here. Look, you can see it. Look, this is my normal microphone. But for some reason, it's not working. So I'm just using this one over here. Tell me how it sounds. Does it sound better than other times? Because if it does, I might as well just use this and take this out and use it for something else. I don't know what happened to it. I really don't. Screw this 2025 crypto cycle. We're so far. I agree. It is an extremely hard cycle to navigate. When I was talking about a Bitcoin bull market in 2023 and 2024, no one listened. When I was talking about mini alt seasons, not full-blown alt seasons, no one listened. When I was saying AI was going to run in the previous cycle, I was saying it's going to run on this cycle, and it's not going to be gaming, and gaming will run towards the end. AI ran, that was the cycle we wanted. We were right about that. Told you when to get out as well perfectly. Yes, we got the gaming wrong. I said the reason I said gaming will start running towards the end of the cycle was because right now, in the end of the cycle, I was expecting, and maybe it still happens, I don't know, but I was expecting for all altcoins to run, and I was expecting gaming to run. But my three narratives right now is AI, which always was, perpetual dexes, which is new, and privacy, which is new. But generally speaking, I was saying that gaming and everything else will run towards the end, and to hold major coins and AI coins throughout this bull market and take profits when you needed to. I got the gaming wrong, but it's still yet to be seen. It's still yet to be seen. Anyway, but I agree with you. This was the hardest cycle to navigate. I made some mistakes as well. Look, I did not expect that flush. When we broke under 117,000, the factor line told you to get out at 120, but when we broke out under 117,000, and by the way, those people that said 126 on the day, they prematurely called that top. They just saw the rise and they just called it because whatever. And yeah, let's just say that there was the wrong time to call a top. That 126,000 was a potential top when we broke under 20, confirmed when we broke under 17. That's when I said we should get out and protect ourselves, and we would go down to the low or mid 100s, and we did, but I did not expect that massive flush down. That caught me by surprise. That screwed me up as well, because I remember that day. It was my birthday was on October the 8th, and my birthday party was on October the 10th, and I took profits, and I protected myself, but I left my leverage positions open because of the party. I left my bots open because of the party, and I said I'll do that on Monday. Because I thought I'm like, okay, we're going to go down, probably going to come in. So I just left them. That was stupid of me. And I lost a shitload of money. I made videos about it. I admitted it. I lost a shitload. I got liquidated. And that was my trading liquidation. I revenge traded and lost a lot more after because I'm a fucking idiot. And I didn't, and of course I would never tell anyone to do that. But that's what I did. And I lost a shitload of money. So I make mistakes as well. Don't think I am God. But I try to give you the right information, even if I don't follow it. Like, I went to the casino and I lost $3,000 something, $2,500, $2,700. I would never advise you to do that, okay? Which was peanuts compared to what I lost in that flush. But anyway, regardless, subbed and liking videos. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you, bro. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Hi, Paul. Should we convert to USDT for SEC right now? Zcash. Anyway, I don't see how converting to Bitcoin will be better if Bitcoin keeps on going down. Well, Mr. Fred, if Bitcoin keeps on going down, everything will keep on going down. I know that Zcash is an outlier, and we called it. We called it $144, and we said that it was trading better than Bitcoin and you should be in it. And I also said that we're getting, even with that alone, was a potential top for this market, the end of this cycle. Not right now, in a month, whatever. Maybe we got a little bit wrong, we'll see. But we're talking about the end of 2025 because Zcash usually pumps toward the end of each cycle. And I was saying if it breaks all-time highs and goes up higher, maybe this market will go a little bit higher. And that's where I got a little bit confused as well. But I would not convert all my USDT to Zcash right now. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't convert all my USDT to anything. Maybe I take a position in Zcash on very low leverage if you know what you're doing. If not, take a spot position on Zcash. Maybe a spot position on Bitcoin too, because both of them, look, if this market continues, they'll both go up. But if this market doesn't, you want to be balanced in a little bit of both of them just in case one goes to shit, right? And Bitcoin's probably not going to go to shit, and if it does, it will probably make a comeback. So that's what I'm looking at anyway. That's what I would do. And this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Obviously, we put this on screen here because I need to. There you go. Because I'm not. Okay. Hello from California. I hope this is the end of the. This isn't the end of the bull run. Technically, it's not, man. We haven't broken structure. I don't care what everybody. I challenge anybody openly. Take a clip of this video. I challenge every single person out there. Send this to them. Let me show you what to send them. Send them this. All right? This is the chart on the factor line, still gold. This is Benjamin's Cowen SMA. Well, not Benjamin Cohen's. This is an indicator, the weekly SMA. And if you break under, yes, it usually turns into a bear market, even though we've seen it happen before, okay? Just not as deep. My challenge you is this. My question is this. Right here. This level right here. If we stay above, is this not a higher low? Okay, and if we stay above this line, let me do it in text for you guys. Is this not a higher low? Have we then, just so you can send it to them. If yes, where have we broken structure? Seriously, send them this. Let me make it bigger. Can we make this bigger? How do I make this bigger? I don't even know how to make this bigger. Anyway, just send them this. Is this not a higher low? If this doesn't break, let me make it more. If this holds, is this not a higher low? That's it. That's perfect. If yes, then where have we broken structure? Send them a screen. Send Benjamin a screenshot. Send everyone a screenshot. Seriously. Go ahead. I might be missing something. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm a human being here. I'm not God. Debatable. But I'm a human being. Maybe I'm missing something. No, seriously. Jokes aside, maybe I'm missing something. Send them a screenshot and let me know. Henry B. California. Could this past year have been a bear market like Bitcoin was basically the same? Well, that wouldn't be a bear market though, would it? I get where you're coming from. The answer is no. Because at the end of the day, Bitcoin, if we go by the 4-year cycle, and I keep on saying this, I'm going to go by the 4-year cycle until proven otherwise. Oh my God, it's going to change. It's going to be different. I don't want to hear all that shit. It's a 4-year cycle until proven otherwise. And yes, if you look at the days of each 4-year cycle, we're at the end. But I do believe that we got in because we got the higher, anyway, and there's a few reasons I don't want to get into this video that I think we just have a little bit more room to run. Or at least some sort of dead cat bounce, some sort of relief rally, something to give us some better levels to get out. I do believe we still have that. Bear market does not mean straight down. It just doesn't. And that flush it just doesn't make sense. Now, could this last year be a bear market? No, because because structure is in since 15.6K when we start coming up. So if you look at the week, we're still up, even though it stayed the same. We're still up, all right? I wouldn't call it a bear market, no. And we did have coins run, and we did go higher. And we did put the all-time highs in October. And it's just, no, it wasn't. How low will Solana go if we drop to 54K? It could drop significantly low. There's no way to actually make that call. I would imagine even $8 to $10 is possible. Should we sell Solana now? I just answered that question. I just tell you, I'm waiting for a relief rally. If that rejects, or the levels to reject, I'm looking at, I told you, please don't make me answer questions that just don't make sense, because I just told you what I'm looking at. You can protect yourself if you want. If you should sell it or not, it depends if you need to protect yourself. But I'm telling you, I'm expecting a relief rally at the very least. I might be wrong. I can't tell you what to do. I can only give you the information, and you can do what you want to do based on your personal portfolio, your personal risk, your personal opinion. I don't know if you have car loans. I don't know I don't know this. Is the Canton network still in your list? It is if privacy runs, and if we have an selective alt seasons or altcoins start running. If they do, I do believe privacy would be one of the narratives. Maybe Canton runs. I'm holding it for that reason. I might be wrong at this point. I'm just telling you my views. You don't know if it's going to run or not. It's a narrative play. I played a portfolio of privacy coins. If I'm right about the narrative, they'll all go up. Maybe Canton goes up more. Maybe not. I don't know. Henry B. California. What is crypto history What is the crypto history in the 4th year between Thanksgiving and mainly USO and Christmas time? Usually there's a seasonal run. We call it the Santa rally. This is usually for all stock markets regardless, and crypto sometimes benefits from that. And sometimes, even if it's a bear market, at the beginning of the bear market, that at least gets some sort of bounce and to the upside. And that's probably where the best exit is if we are indeed topped. But let's wait and see what happens. Oh wait, I think I missed a question here. Hello, Paul. Good evening from Kifisia. I finally made it to Greece after 8 years. I'd love to Freddo Cappuccino. Are you in Glyfada? I am. Come down to Glyfada. Let's talk. Let's have a coffee. DM me on Twitter and Telegram. DM me on Twitter, dude. Look, let me do this here. This is my Twitter. Make sure you have the right profile. It's got a check mark here. Paul, the Crypto Facts, MC Paul D. DM me. Maybe we can meet. Maybe I can come up to Kivisia as well. We'll see, because I haven't been up there for a while. How long? Okay, we did this. Should we sell? I already answered that. We already answered that. What is it? We already answered that. Sounds good. Thank you. How did you know it was a Bitcoin only season and selective alt season? It was very simple. So first of all, we usually chart Bitcoin and Ethereum for altcoins. I noticed Solana was more powerful. We called it $8.5 in this cycle. And I was noticing that it was going to be a Bitcoin run because of all the narrative based on Bitcoin. That's how we called SRC20 tokens, BRC20 tokens, and all that. Of course, they were short-lived, but we made massive profits there. Very simple. Everything was around Bitcoin, institutions, this, that. Everyone was going to buy Bitcoin. Why buy altcoins? Then there was too many altcoins being made with all these different platforms. It was just memes and then this and that. It was just obvious. It wasn't that hard. Of course, there was a few more things. We talk about it a lot in my group, but that's basically the gist of it, without getting too techy and all that. And the mini alt seasons, I was actually charting with Bitcoin based with Solana instead of Bitcoin with Ethereum. So that's how I got the mini alt seasons, because most coins were being released on Solana. So it just made sense to me to chart those two coins instead of the Ethereum, which no one was building on. Somebody's shilling a coin. Pro official is shilling a coin in a different language, I think. I'm not sure. Sounds awesome. Thank you. Do you think we are going to go to 100? I think we're going to at least retest it 100K. I think we're going to retest 100. That's my bet. My bet is that we should retest the breaking point of 100K. It also sits at various 100K psychological. Is also resists with the breakdown of the weekly simple moving average. If you want to go by Benjamin Cowen, I think we're going to at least retest this. So even if we go into a bear market again, let me show you. I think we're probably going to retest close to this, then go down, or even come up and then go down. If we go down, and that will pretty much give us a heads and shoulders. So that would give us something like this, like left shoulder, right shoulder, sorry, neck, head, and then right shoulder here. And then you break the neckline, which is where we are now, and that would go and give us a bear market, or put us in a very strong position for a bear market or a possible bear market, if that makes sense. That's what I'm looking at in a nutshell. We're in promised land. The 4-year cycle will be different with the big guys involved. Why? Hi, Paul, thanks. And even if so, why do anything else until proven otherwise? You can always get back in, take profits, protect yourself. If you took profits and protect yourself 117K, then 112K, then 117K, and then 100K, why would you care? You can always get back in if we break up. Hi, Paul, thanks for the live. You're very, very welcome. Pax G, I think that's got to do with gold. It's a way to bet on gold. I'd rather just buy gold. Hey man, I see fear and greed and RSI is low, bear market, rates coming down, blah, blah, blah. Okay, is it really over? Please watch this video from the beginning and watch what I'm saying, but not for the, and I'm saying it's not over yet, but not for the reasons you just said. First of all, a lot of people get this wrong. This is what got them wrecked at 100K when we broke down. And I said, take profits and protect yourself, and we went all the way down. And as fear and greed was going big, more and more and more towards fear, everyone was saying, okay, now we have to reverse, now we have to reverse. This is wrong. The fear and greed index can be used in combination with other indicators, but not on its own. Because in a bear market, when you go into a bear market, the fear could stay, the indicator could stay on fear for a very long time. It doesn't have to bounce. It can stay there for months, even close to a year, if it just doesn't go up. And also, in the bull market, it could stay into greed in the parabolic phase. If we get a parabolic phase, which right now is very hard, but if we do, you'll see that the greed will stay up there for a while. It could stay up there for a very long time. The fear and greed index is mostly used for in between with other indicators combined. This is my in between and other indicator. This makes everything make sense. But you know what I mean. It's like I'm rapping. Sounds good, LDM now. Okay. Zcash will be good buy in bear market. No, so I would never buy anything in the bear market. Listen to this, guys. Let me give you some huge alpha here that you're hearing shit on this channel that you will not hear anywhere else. On technicals, on structure, on this and that. Let me give you another one, okay? The bear market is not the best time to buy. It's actually one of the worst. Let me explain why, okay? Before you leave, let me explain why. In the bear markets can be gruesome, they can be long-lived. And a lot of shit can happen to coins in the bear market. Okay, they could go bankrupt, they could get hacked, they could stop, they could go insolvent, they could get, CEOs might fight because one of them fucks their wife, I don't know, whatever. Someone might die, touch wood. And you don't know which projects are gonna survive. Also, you don't know which projects are gonna be trending. You wouldn't know that Solana would have run yet, and which it did. You wouldn't know that there's new narratives coming out like AI, which they did. You don't know that. So what you're doing is, if you're buying in the bear market, you're locking up capital and missing opportunity cost. You're supposed to buy when you're coming out of a bear market, just as you're coming out of a bear market. So picture this: markets come down. You're in a bear market here. Sure, you can get Bitcoin. Bitcoin's an exception, but you're buying Bitcoin. And once you start going up, you see which projects are running, which ones are powerful, which ones held price better, which ones are still building, and now you can get into positions that are worth it, and that's how you pick the right narratives, that's how you pick the right coins, and that's how you make money, and that's how we were so successful on this channel since 2017. Does that make sense? Because you have to think of it like a business, you have to think about it with marketing, you have to think about everything, not just when you get into investing in general, you have to think about all these stuff, all these things. Yes, technical analysis is the most important, we use it for every single thing we just said, but you have to have an overall picture. That's the kind of stuff you learn in my course. That's what I teach. Right here. Check it out, seriously. It's also in the links in the description down below. It's worth it. If you're gonna buy yourself a gift, buy it now before the prices go up after Black Friday. It's worth it. Anyway, it's one of the best investments you can do is invest in yourself. By the way, talking about investing in yourself, if you are an entrepreneur or want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to start selling, if you're in sales and you want to learn how to negotiate or get girls or whatever, because that's sales as well for me. If you want to learn marketing, if you're an entrepreneur, businessman, or aspiring to be one, check out my other channel. Paul DeMarco. This is my old channel, which I abandoned for a few years, okay? And I started posting on this channel again lately. All right, this was before the Crypto Factor. So look, you learn sales mastery, so you can learn how to sell, use psychological, subliminal selling and body language and so on. I just made this new video, sell anything to anyone, or the one blueprint that lets you sell anything to anyone on any platform. This is very good for business and marketeers, by the way. Success mindset, why you need to dump some friends, hobbies you need to be successful, and so on. And look, entrepreneurship, AI and this. You need to learn and invest in these two to win in 2026. Plus all these interviews I did with Patrick Bet-David, Evan Carmichael's, Adrian Paul from the Highlander, Ben Gay, and so on. All these interviews, you learn a lot of stuff. And this is my old channel. Post down here and so on. You could check it out. This will teach you how to sell, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a marketer, because maybe it's not just about crypto, it's about mindset. You have to get, if you want to make money, it's about mindset. It's about how to make money, not just with crypto and investing, but also the mindset behind that. So if that's what you want, if you want an entrepreneurial mindset, a success, a growth mindset, check out the channel. Very easy to get to. It's my name, Paul Democritou. Yes, this is my name, right? I'll put it in the chat here so you can check it out. Go subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you don't miss videos. You won't regret it. I have a blue chip alts only. Should I sell in a relief rally? Yes. If it's a relief rally, that means we're going to go into a bear market, because that's what a relief rally, or we're going to go down much lower. That's what a relief rally means. So yes, because that will constitute to a dead cat bounce. So if you're expecting a relief rally, of course, otherwise we're going to go down. But if 100K breaks and becomes support, then you can wait for the right shoulder and see and do that again. See if it breaks and becomes support. And if not, then you sell. That's what I was explaining throughout the whole video here. I stepped away for a mental week for a crypto. So yeah, I feel like going fishing myself this week. So this week, after I finish certain videos and certain things I need to do, I'm probably going to step away for a couple of days as well. Efcharisto, you're very welcome, Hellraiser. Barakalo. Paul, people buy when they see a bright bump more than a bump down. True. All right, anyway, thank you very much. I love all of you. I really appreciate all of you. I would really appreciate if you like this video, and I would really appreciate if you check out my other channel, if you like my other channel, if you want to get into entrepreneurship, success mindset, and so on. I love every single one of you. I really mean that. Why? Because your family, like, you know, a lot of people probably wonder, why is he saying he loves me? He doesn't even know me. He can't even see me. Well, you saved me. You saved my life. Let me explain. I'm not talking about YouTube and making videos and you paying me for my course or anything like that. But when I made this with this channel, I was fighting cancer. I was fighting cancer 3 times since 2015. And when I made this channel, I called the bottoms in hospital while having a bone marrow transplant, getting CAR T therapy, fighting cancer, almost died. And these live streams, I don't know if you can remember, some of you might have been, I couldn't even breathe in the live. I was like this, and I was trying to speak, and then I was making videos from hospital. I was making those shorts, you know those shorts that used to vanish for every 7 days? Those weekly shorts. But then I was making shorts as well, and live streams from hospital, trying to help and give value. That kept me going. And now look at me, I'm just talking like a Greek, I'm non-stop now. No, seriously, you saved my life. You gave me purpose, you know? And, you know, I went through hell. You know, I went through hell I lost my sister, my mother, my father while I was fighting cancer. I almost died. I almost lost everything. And, you know, I'm getting a little bit emotional here. But this is why I say I love you and I mean it, because if it wasn't for you, I don't know what I'd be doing. I really don't. I couldn't work. I couldn't even travel. Now I'm traveling everywhere. So thank you. Really, thank you for your trust. This is why I care about you. This is why I'm trying to help you. And I really mean it. And I really do love you. Thank you very much. I love you all. Take care. See you in the next video.